there, lovely good afternoon and welcome to Camnet TV's Lunchtime Cafe. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I'm Tapelo Joe Smata. Now this afternoon we look at youth and development, and to help me discuss this very important topic is Mr. Collins MULOMBA. He is the founder of ANUCOW, an organization spearheading. Obviously, he will be able to tell us what it spearheads in totality. Mr. MULOMBA, good to see you and welcome.
Thank you so very much, and it's good to see you as well.
Okay, fantastic. Let's get into it. When we talk about ANUCOW, what do the letters ANUCOW stand for?
All right, the ANUCOW stands for Ambassadors of National Unity and Community Warfare.
Okay.
Sure.
When was this organization founded, and what's the purpose of this particular organization?
Yeah, as youths, we founded this organization in the year 2021, in the month of December. Yeah, and then the main aim or the main objective of our organization is to make sure that we provide a holistic transformation of vulnerable people in our communities faced by main barriers in our society. So when we talk of the barriers, we looked at the main challenges that we, the people, especially the youths, face when it comes to governance, when it comes to national affairs, when it comes to national funds, when it comes to bursaries and scholarships. So all those barriers are the ones that we search for first, to make sure that we see how possible we can make it to every person. Yeah, be it either in the rural parts of our country, even here in urban areas. So those are the things that we involve ourselves in.
Okay, and that has been the response from members of the public?
Yeah, the response has been overwhelming. Since our inception, I can say that we have tried so much to get actually many youths from rural parts of our country to take them to different institutions of higher learning. We have a lot of students at Kwame Nkrumah University that we helped actually as a youth NGO in terms of accessing funds from AOSB, Higher Education Student Loan Board. So they got different bursaries and they are in different institutions. Then not only that, there are also some that have gotten actually access to CDF, where there is also empowerment and also boarding fees that are supposed to be offered to these different people. Sure.
Okay. Let's talk about some of the barriers that young people face. You have mentioned a couple, but let's now begin to look at them item by item. Let's start with issues that have to do with governance. What barriers lie in governance in terms of youth representation?
Yeah, when it comes to youth representation, the barrier which has been there is that the adoption processes haven't been fed out to us youths. So mostly we found it difficult, or the youths, my fellow youths found it difficult to get into governance issues, because even when one wants to come out, that person will be intimidated by maybe a senior government official. So there is intimidation most of the times, or I can say starting from the way back, intimidation has been a challenge to most of the youths. And then there is also fear also. In ourselves as youths, we fear so much to say, maybe governance is just for the people who are old, of which that shouldn't be the matter, even as we can get into the system and make sure that we learn. Then the other thing that has been there as a barrier also is that mostly those people in government, they don't want to appoint youths in those important positions. Let's talk of maybe parliament. If we were a country that needs a youth, we need to have a speaker of the National Assembly who is a youth. When we come to cabinet of our country, we need to have at least to point at maybe 5 or 6, 10 youths pure youths, not people who claim themselves to be youths. Maybe they are 45. That doesn't symbolize a youth. Yeah. So those are the things that we look at mostly.
On that score, let me find out when it comes to youth representation. The question that most young people ask, and what older people or older generation ask is, are young people ready for leadership positions? It could be in the political arena, it could be in the corporate world. Are young people ready?
Yeah, I can say that now is the time that young people are ready to take. Look at our country. Across actually in all the provinces of our country, we do have youths who have got a zeal to make sure that they can make it into governance systems. So what we need as NGOs is to make sure that we empower those, or maybe we also activate their innate potential, because they have got a zeal. But what can maybe be a barrier to them is the funds, where they can source funds for them to do what? To get into the governance system. Because for one to get into the governance system, that person is supposed to be elected. And mostly in all these positions of councillor, mayoral positions, presidential, and also MP, parliamentary positions, they require one to be elected from a particular constituency or a particular ward. So what they lack mostly is a fund. So if we have an organization more like ourselves, because we are acting as a link to make sure that we empower these people in different ways. It's either we create that link for the person who is likely to stand, to make sure that they have got access and they can be empowered. There are so many organizations out there that can be networking even with us. Sure.
Okay. Apart from financial resources, what other things are youths lacking?
Yeah, youths also, I can say mostly, because not everybody, but there are some who also lack a zeal.
Okay.
Yeah, a zeal for them to stand up. And then some, like I mentioned in my preamble, I talked of intimidation. Where we are coming from different constituencies, where some of our leaders seem to be like superior than others. They don't want to hear even opposition to raise their voice. They don't want even to hear us, the NGOs, voice. They don't want to hear it. But when we stand firmly, when we stand to help these people, we can even activate their innate potential, because each one of us has a potential. If you can have a zeal to do something, you can do something in whatever case. But what we normally actually tell our youths is to be upright in everything they do. We shouldn't be involving ourselves in insults for us to get into the governance system. No, we should present ourselves.
But that seems like the norm now. We have seen young people that have developed a habit of disrespecting elders. Young gain attention, and that some youths feel this is the right way to go.
Yeah, to some they are like that. Even where I'm coming from, it's true.
So the question is, Mr. MULOMBA,
yes,
should then the elders out there trust you, the youths, if you are hailing insults at them day in, day out? Each time you go live, you want to disrespect the incumbent member of parliament, the incumbent mayor or council chairperson, the councillor that is there. No, he's not working. No, you need me. But you're doing it in a disrespectful way. Sure, fellow candidate. Is that the way to go?
No, that shouldn't be the way to go. But what I can say is that elders must be acting as our role models.
Okay.
Yeah, because you know, of course, in political environment, mostly people say that it's a dead game. Of which, to us who are people in NGOs, we say politics is not a dead game. It's just a dead game to those with dead minds.
Okay.
Yeah. So if these people who are in positions, especially you have mentioned that the incumbent MPs or president, councillors, whatever, they should first present themselves well. They should refrain themselves from using abusive language. They should refrain themselves from doing unlawful acts. Once they refrain from those, then even us youths, my fellow youths out there, will be able to learn, will be able actually to be even aspiring of becoming a person like them.
And if they don't do that?
If they don't do that, then it will be difficult because they are not trusting the leaders, and the leaders are not trusting youths in the sense of saying no. They are of insults and in whatsoever norms are being broken, whatever.
Let me find out from you, Mr. Mulomba. What sort of representation do you want as young people? You've been given opportunities as young people to say, if you are not appointed in the political arena, for instance, or you are not elevated to a higher position in the corporate world, or in any sector or field that you venture into, there's also the aspect when it comes to local government governance. There's also the aspect of CDF. You can apply, become your own boss, become an entrepreneur, and begin now to build your own SME, which you can develop into a fully fledged company. Why are we not seeing young people taking advantage of CDF, for instance?
When we talk of CDF, me, I call it the so-called CDF. Why do I call it? It's because the fruits haven't been seen ever since it was upgraded to the amount where we are today. When you talk of CDF, when you talk of community development funds, it's the money which is meant for community development. And then since the coming of our New Dawn government, they had to make sure that they increase the funds from it, meaning that they have installed actually all the funds from the ministries to put it in local government. Today we can say that the local government is the one driving our nation, because these other ministries, even if they do presentations in parliament there to say, no, this is our budget for each particular ministry, those ministries, they look up to local government ministry. And what is happening on the ground is that the most actually victimized people in our country are the youths, because these youths are failing to access funds from CDF. There is that component, they say, youth and women empowerment. It's a grant, you can also get a loan, but mostly you find that women are the ones who are getting grants from CDF, even loans from CDF. And then when you talk of also women, you find that it's not just the pure women group, no. These women groups are having also men who are not youths. So that has been also a challenge.
Are you against empowering the girl child? The women are representing the girl child.
No.
Benefit.
Yeah, we are not against as a youth organization, because the other component that we look at is gender and development, where we want to balance up things for our nation to drive. To drive up. So the thing is, we are looking at the people who are being victimized. Yeah, who has got a lesser access to these funds which the government has initiated, to most of the policies. So that is where I'm trying to make that comparison to that of women groups, the so-called women groups. So as youths, mostly they are being victimized, as I've said, because across the country, we went as far as Luapula province. There is a place called, the place is after Kashikishi, Chelenge constituency. It's in Chienge constituency, in short. Yeah. So in that place, most of the youths raised actually different ways to us to say they fail to get those funds. It's because, one, most of the chairpersons that are being chosen from these constituencies to spearhead WDC are those politically inclined. So you can't expect the equal participation in a CDF component, because people are just actually the chairpersons in these WDCs are people who are inclined. And in local, I can say that...
so in your view, why should those people be selected from? What should how should the selection process be for chairpersons in WDCs?
Of course, we've been advocating for making sure that we do away with chairpersons who are politically inclined, and then they put people who are maybe running churches. Yeah, people who are running organizations. They choose from those people, from civil society organizations, they choose one who can be spearheading. Because the WDC is appointed, the WDC chairperson, mostly likely to be appointed by the MP. So the MP has got the powers to appoint that person. So now, the running of CDF, especially where women and youth empowerment is concerned, has been a problem. But I can testify with you to say the part where there are bursaries and empowerment of skills, that part is it's doing very well across the country. But the issue is on the women and empowerment project, because that is where grant and loans are falling under.
Okay.
Sure.
So, is the Vice President, her owner, Madam W.K. Mtalena Lumango, in order to have suggested that, look, the people that are given loans are not paying back. So, can we stop the loan process for now to allow those that got the monies pay back? And among those that got the monies, it's you, the youths. You're not paying back when you get these monies. What are you doing as an organization to educate, sensitize young people that when they get these monies, they need to pay back because it's a revolving fund?
First and foremost, I would love to say that when you become, okay, like you are working, then you become a man of nepotism. Then it will be difficult for your company where you are working from to develop. What I mean by that is, like I've already talked of, there is patronage in CDF, whereby people are getting CDF grants based on the affiliation to their political party. You can't expect them to do well with that CDF grant, because they know that we are supporters. They cannot even mind to pay back that money. So when you say that youth groups that have gotten money have failed to pay back, we need to ask ourselves as a country to say which type of youths have gotten.
These youths come from among you, Mr. MULOMBA. You interact with them. They come from amongst you, the community. And if they're not paying, it's a reflection of the kind of communities that we have in this particular country. Don't you think so?
Yeah, it can be. But what I can say is...
three things as young people, Mr. MULOMBA.
No, not that way. I can't agree with you on that point. The thing is, they are youths, of course, who have got a zeal to do certain things on their own, minus even getting free things. But the issue, why CDF has been fading, that's the point which we should drive ourselves in first. Why has it been fading? Why has it been fading to pay back? What kind of people have been having access to that? So that is why we are saying that even if we are all youths, of course we have a lot of youths, even in Kabwe where I'm coming from, there are a lot of youth groups. In my ward there are about, I'm sure 6 groups that have accessed CDF grant. I don't know, I'm not so sure on that, but there is a grant. When you give grants to people, don't expect them to pay back.
No, that's free money.
That is free money.
Yes, yes.
But when it comes to loan, we need to ask ourselves how many youth groups have gotten loans, you see. Then in most cases, you may find that maybe each particular group, since the inception of CDF, has been getting loans. How would you expect them to pay back? If they, since the inception, they have just been getting. There can be such cases.
Are there such cases that you
know? I don't have a proof, but the thing is, because... so
that our viewers are guided, do we have such cases like in the ward that you're coming from?
Yeah.
Do you have such cases where since 2021, the same youth group has been participating and getting CDF loans each and every year?
Like in my constituents, it's not there, but it is an assumption. Yeah, it is an assumption to say there can be such cases.
Oh, there can?
Yeah, there can be such cases.
You don't know of any cases?
I don't know of any cases, but there can be such cases for them to be failing to pay what? To pay back the money. Yeah, and then the other thing which actually I can say, of course, youths, if there are some groups of youths that have been failing to pay back, it can be that they lacked sensitization and education
when getting the money.
Yes, when getting the money.
Okay.
They lacked that, because even where I'm coming from, there are no such things to do with sensitization, educating people before they get the money.
So this is a person that has never handled the 20,000.
Yes.
Then they are given a 200,000.
Yes, yes, that is the thing which is supposed to be actually being put in place before this particular group has gotten the money.
Okay.
Yes. So that is what I can say about the failing of paying back. And then the other thing that I can mention, of course, I've talked of nepotism, I've talked of patronage, where one inclines maybe with a certain political party. I need also to talk about embezzlement.
Wait, for the benefit of our viewers, when you talk about nepotism and patronage, let me find out, in the constituents where you're coming from, when you look at the groups that you know of that benefited from Constituency Development Fund, funds, are these groups affiliated to the ruling party? All of them, are they affiliated to the ruling party?
No, they are not affiliated to the ruling party. The issue here is this. When you look at CDF, it's being run by a particular constituency. Yeah. The president isn't there. The local government minister isn't there. Because way back, of course, it used to go up to the local government ministry. But now, I'm sure you are fed with the story to say it ends at the provincial level. Yeah. Where the PS is the one who is the last, actually the last man to sign on those papers to do with the CDF. So the thing is, we have, like in Kabwe, we have two different MPs. One for the ruling party, and then the other one is for the opposition. In Wacha constituents, we have Sidi Mushanga, who is the area member of parliament. Then in our constituents, we have the Madam.
Kabwe Central?
Yes, Kabwe Central, Madam Chrysosta Piri. So you find that in Wacha constituents, the turnout of the people that are going to participate in the CDF thing will be that of those actually who are belonging to PF, because the head there is belonging to opposition. Yes. Then in our constituents also, it's the same issue which has been there, because I can say us ourselves even up to now.
So let me find out, Mr. MULOMBA, if for instance a member or a resident in Wacha Central constituency, or they are in Wacha Central constituency, but they are affiliated to the ruling party, it means that it excludes them from accessing CDF.
Mostly that has been the issue.
That has been the issue.
That has been the issue.
Okay.
Yeah, you find that if a person is different from that, then it will be a challenge. Because we have had seen actually scenarios of different kinds since 2021. Yeah, such have been happening, but of course we've been doing advocates in most of our times. We started seeing groups, youth groups, to start getting in the year 2023.
Okay.
That's when we started now seeing the groups getting a certain amount from CDF. And the other thing that has been there is that you may ask for, you make a proposal, because they say make a business proposal. That business proposal will tell you how much you are supposed to start with when you are starting that business. Let's say the proposal is telling the CDF panel to say, we want 40,000 kwacha for us to run this particular business. Then the CDF panel now would decide to give that particular group 18,000 kwacha. Honestly speaking, how can they pay back the money?
Such cases have happened. You've seen them.
They have seen them, and I know even records are there.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So that is what have been happening all along, because that hasn't stopped. Even now it happens, where one has presented the proposal of maybe 40,000 kwacha, because from the year 2021 to somewhere 2024, 2024, the grant was up to 40,000 kwacha. Okay. Yes. So now it was difficult. This particular group was gotten the money. Then they give them less compared to what they have applied for. So it has been the challenge. Even those groups that have gotten grants.
Is this also contributing to people not paying their loans?
For sure. It's contributing, because when you apply, you have stated to say, I want 40,000 kwacha. That 40,000 kwacha, maybe I want to buy some chairs for me to start the business, which I'm supposed to engage in. Yeah, I need to buy certain things to make up the business, because when you are starting business, it's not just about buying the items you start selling. You need also to look at the environment. You scan the environment. Maybe you want to beautify the place where you want to start trading from. So all that has to be put in the proposal. When you put that, then you are given lesser money. It will be difficult for you to do what? To pay back. Sure.
Okay. Now let's look at youth development. How then do we embark on a journey of developing an upright youth, a morally upright youth, a Zambian youth that can represent you and I in the National Assembly of Zambia respectfully, lawfully, and how do we achieve this?
For us to achieve that party, the first thing with the youths, we must be mindset. We have to change our mindset. Yeah, that is the first thing, because in most of our cases, to the happenings, yeah, we don't have respect to the elders. But again, there is much to be done by our elders.
And if they failed you, what do you do?
If they have failed us, then we, the youth groups, are there to make sure that we mentor the age of ourselves. We mentor them, we mentor even the young ones who are younger than us, to make sure that they grow up in a system where everyone can be participating in governance issues, governance and leadership, where everyone can be acting morally than these things that we are able to see in our country today.
Okay.
Yes.
The Gen Zs, 2000 coming up, are blaming you, the 80s, the 90s children, that you've neglected them. You didn't present something to them that they can carry on with. While those from the 1950s, 60s, 70s, they gave something to the 80s that made you come through 90s and to the 2000s. But the Gen Zs are saying, look, we have nothing to copy from you. You didn't leave us a blueprint that we can run with. Hence, what we are seeing nowadays coming from the Gen Zs.
Yeah, for sure, because on that point I can agree with you. And it's because maybe in our time, when we lost that time which we were supposed to use to become actively actually in our nation affairs. And not just in nation affairs, even in business, yeah, in the business world. We need also to make sure that we inspire these people that maybe born from 2000 up to now, but we lacked that component. But again, like I've told you, it could be that we were put in a primitive world. We were being put in a primitive world because maybe there are certain type of a government which was there, which never wanted to use youths so that they start now inspiring others. When we talk of the UNIP government, of course they were bad in some other things, but in some things, especially where to do with the balance of cabinet, it was there. Youths were there. It was the government of pure youths. They were there. If you do the history, you find that youths were there. A lot of them, even women were there. We could do, yeah, we do here. The history has the story to tell. So those are the things. But there came also MMD with about 3 different leaders. So it could be that there was a leader who infringed the rights of the youth to make sure that this one can start pushing the other. So that was the challenge. But I can say that during the time of...
let me ask you this question. Don't lose your thought. Yeah. Should we then, as young people, continue to blame our forefathers, our education system, maybe religion, for our failure to be able to be, for our failure of being upright, of being intelligent young people, innovative young people? Should we continue blaming our forefathers with the advent of technology? Technology is now advanced, Mr. MULOMBA. Should we continue?
No, that time is a long gone time of blaming our leaders, our forefathers, our elders. It's a time we call a long gone time. It's a time for us youths to change our mindset.
How do we do that?
We can do that by observing what is happening in the country. When I say that the failure that can occur from my colleague, I have to learn something from it, and I should refrain from it. I shouldn't do it. What I mean is, if something bad has happened to my colleague, I shouldn't go that way later in the days, because if I do that, I'll fall in the same trap where my colleague has fallen in. So what we need is to make sure that we maximize our potential as youths. We need to find the common goal of our doing. We need to refrain ourselves from insults, from these unlawful things that are happening within our country. We are not supposed to be even insulting our leaders. Even if a leader maybe has injured you, maybe in your mind, you don't have to insult, because that is a leader. A leader has to be respected. So there is a better way of resolving such type of conflicts where a young one is insulting the elder one. It can be that we can actually mediate the leader and the young ones. There are some people that we have seen that they are now changing. We can talk of the youth of this particular constituency in the Copper Belt. This known for the well known for Ishabai program. Yeah. So you find that he used to use that abusive language in parliament. He used to use that abusive language in parliament. But because there are people now who are coming in to make sure that they put a certain content of knowledge in that person, a certain content of wisdom in that person, is now changing a bit by bit. So even us, it's not difficult for us youths to change. What youths need, like I said in my preamble, is that they need sensitization, they need quality education. Yeah, for us to make sure that we do better for our country.
Okay, as we begin to wind up, let's look at quality education. How do you then define quality education? What is quality education?
For quality education, we are looking at the content education which can prepare a youth for his or her future. Yeah. So if you look at the quality education, we are talking of maybe making sure that we have that educational system which can help us to do business, to be our as own CEOs.
People are learning entrepreneurship.
Yeah, that is why I'm saying that today now, at least we are getting civilized, because there are certain things that are now changing slowly, by slowly. Because even the policies that are there are policies which are actually supposed to be answering to the problems of the youth that they face. When you talk of the policy of free education, it's there for us youths, for other youths. And then there is also CEEC, those empowerment whatever programs, they are there also for the youths. But the problem has been between those who are office bearers and the youth out there.
But are the youths taking advantage of these particular programs? You've talked about education.
Yes.
Is the education system failing the youth, or it's the youth failing the education system? Because if you pursue your tertiary education, I don't know whichever program you get into, but there will always be a component. In some programs, you find that there's a component of economics there, there's a component of entrepreneurship, there's a component of a lot of things, financial accounting, for instance. Is the education system failing the youth, or it's the youth failing the education system?
I can say that maybe in the last 10 years, yeah, I can say the education system was failing us as youths.
What has changed now?
There are a lot of things that have now been changed. I can say, I can even say kudos to the New Dawn government, because they have taken keen interest in changing the education system of Zambia, where they have brought now entrepreneurship as compulsory courses in most of these institutions of general education, and even in higher education systems, you find that entrepreneurship is there. But way back, we used to find the courses that were not very much helpful to us. They were just there to make sure that we become workers of somebody. We don't become as self-employees, but an employee for somebody. Those are the programs that were there. If we talk of like history, those times, we talk of civic education, those times, which was called the SDS. So those programs, of course, they are good to us all to learn them, but we lacked the component of entrepreneurship. That was supposed to be there as compulsory, so that we change our mindsets in a good manner and possible time. Yeah, that's what I can say about it. And then the other thing that I can mention is those days when we were supposed to have entrepreneurial knowledge, we had people that were running our government, who were just thinking to say, no, if one gets this type of education, he or she is supposed to be what? To be employed. So it was really a challenge, even to us all, because me, I graduated actually in the year 2020. That's when I graduated. And I was in the field of education. I did Bachelor's of Arts with Education with the University called Cavendish. That's where I was. But since then, I started working with different, actually, private institutions. Yeah, in Kabwe there are about 3-4 private institutions, private ones. I worked with them. Then I was not okay with the money which I used to get.
So you wanted to be deployed by government?
Of course, I had the mind.
The goal.
Yes, yes.
You go, you do education.
Yes.
or you do your nursing, your clinical medicine.
Yes.
Or maybe you do medicine as a doctor.
Yes.
But the first thing that comes to your mind is, when is government employing me?
Yeah, that's the first
We need to
thing.
change that as well?
Yeah, we need to change that mindset. That's why I've called for the mindset change to us all youths. Because when you get that type of education, of course you can go out there, you start lobbying. So that you set maybe a company, like I did civic education and English, I can set the school. Maybe a secondary, I can start with a tuition center. From there, I'm just upgrading up to the school maybe which I want to have my own private institution. Yeah, so that is the mindset which we even share with other youths out there. We make sure that we share our common knowledge to the people out there who are youths, so that at least we start running together in one pace.
Okay. Mr. MULOMBA, as we conclude, let me thank you more sincerely for coming through and having this very interesting conversation that borders on young people. We can only wish you all the best as you continue to sensitize and endeavor to change the minds of young people out there, so that they can be able to start recognizing opportunities that lie amongst and around them. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much as well. It has been actually a good time to be with you here.
Okay,
Thank you.
Viewers, thank you so much. You are the major stakeholders in this particular program. My director upstairs, Mr. Lesa, thank you so much. I have been your host, Tapelo Joe Smarter. We'll see you when you see us. Good afternoon.